Do you have any callers for me? We have Thomas Van Flein on. Yeah, Thomas Van Flein, who is legal counsel to the governor. Did you hear Bristol?
I did, and way to disappoint your listeners to have me follow her.
I was thinking the same thing. No. Yeah, it's great. You know, it is a great family. They take a lot of heat, though, don't they?
They do, and a lot of it very unfair, but they have a lot of grace.
You know, I was just trying to be funny and having a good time with Bristol, but, you know, she is really handling her situation in a graceful, classy way.
I agree.
Yeah, and it's difficult, too, at times when different things come in your life. This book deal, there's already, you know, the governor is signed a book deal. The way I understand it is that she went to the Department of Law. You explained that the other day. Now there's criticism for her even doing that. I mean, Tom, when I was a staffer, chief of staff down in the Alaska State Legislature, I was chair of this group, Save Your Dividend, all right? There was a ballot proposition that was going on, and they won it back in 1998, and they wanted to take $500 of the dividend. So I formed this group, and I was chair of it. But before I started taking time off and making speaking engagements, I went to the Department of the Personnel and said, hey, how do I do this so that I don't get in trouble? And I got that request, that answer back. And then I followed their instructions. That's what was my obligation. And so I'm perplexed why people are upset that the governor would ask the Department of Law to give her legal advice as how to move forward with something.
Well, I can give you some background on that and maybe put it into context. But following up on what you just said, you've revealed why you're a conservative. If you were not a conservative, you would have worked for a group called Spend Your Dividend.
That's true. That's what I was doing. I was fighting the liberals. They just wanted to spend the dividend. That's all they did. More government spending.
But here's the context of what you're seeing right now. There's a great gnashing of teeth going on right now by people who had already planned to file ethics complaints when the book deal was announced, and they were all very excited about it. They had all convinced themselves that it would be unethical, it would be illegal, and it would be improper. And I never saw any legal opinions on that. These are, I think, just people writing on blogs and comments here and there, and no real legal analysis, just sort of an amateur kind of approach to it. And so they'd worked themselves up into kind of a dither, and then when they learned that actually the governor had followed the law,
right,
and there's you have to understand that the Ethics Act is not intended to be a gotcha. It's there to guide public employees. And public employees are supposed to disclose issues, go to the Attorney General, and seek guidance before they act to the extent you can see something coming down the pike. There are some situations that arise fast, decisions are made, and then you have to look at it after the fact. But if you can see something ahead of time and predict it, and you have a question, and with our governor, it's unprecedented amount of scrutiny and the opportunities and the issues and policy things that she's had to deal with. So there's new ground to cover. She has appropriately sought ethical guidance from the state and got approval. We have a protocol, and that has really annoyed those detractors who had already planned to file ethics complaints and had already convinced themselves it would be illegal.
It seems they had more desire to file an ethics complaint than they did with having the governor follow the law.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so to the extent that there's allegations or internet myths basically have been created that the deal, any book deal would be unethical, it would be a conflict of interest, it would be outside employment that would be prohibited, all of that was debunked by the Attorney General in a very well-reasoned, very detailed multi-page, single-space analysis of the law, not and it's a neutral analysis. The Attorney General has no dog in the fight.
Right.
They could have said, nope, this is not going to fly. This is not, or not on the terms you propose. You've got to do something else.
Right.
They don't care. They're just there to interpret the law neutrally and fairly and to give guidance to public officials.
The governor had an obligation to do this. I felt when I was a staffer, if I was going to go out and do something, I had an obligation to my boss, which was Representative Sanders, and then I had an obligation to the people of Alaska as a staffer, being paid by them in a political position to follow the law. And I would have looked at somebody if they'd have said, well, why are you wasting money and having the personnel board or the Department of Personnel answer these questions? Well, because I want to do the right thing. I mean, I would have slapped them if they'd have said something like that to me. Are you kidding me?
Well, and that's what they're there for. There's even some people saying, well, it was an abuse of state time and money to have the state attorney general look at this issue. Sorry, people, that's not how the process works. The law is set up to benefit the public employees, to give them guidance, and if there's a violation, to address it. But you want to avoid violations, and here, everyone is encouraged. All public employers are encouraged to contact the AG, get advice, and that's exactly what happened.
It's like, hey, how come you went out last night without permission? No way, Mom. I didn't. I asked Dad. He said it was okay. Oh, all right. I didn't know that. Okay. Yes, permission, right? Essentially, that's what they're doing. Thomas Van Flein, legal counsel for the governor. We're going to come back and talk to you more about some of these ethics complaints, where they've been, and this book deal, and how you see this thing, the future of this, and how it's worked out legally for the governor. We'll be right back.